We're at the Drake's Beach Sandsculpture Contest in California, and this is Bing. Why don't you tell me what we've got behind us?
Yes, I'm Bing Gong, and I live in Point Reyes Station, and I was just in Washington, D.C. protesting the Keystone XL pipeline, which is a proposed pipeline to bring at the top there you can see tar sands, Alberta tar sands. It's the size of an area of Florida, potentially. And what they're proposing to do is to build a pipeline right down through the heartland of the United States here, through Montana, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas, to refineries on the Gulf Coast where they can refine that dirty crude oil from the tar sands. And the reason why it's a bad idea that we should stop the pipeline, because there's so much carbon locked up in the it's the second largest reserves of oil next to Saudi Arabia, and right now there is an existing pipeline that comes to the Midwest, but what they want to do is to bring it to a coast where they can put it on super tankers and ship it on the world market. So it's all about money, and environmentally it is a disaster. From the extraction process, where they have to strip off the boreal forest in Alberta to get at these tar sands, which contain this tar-like substance called albumin, and to get the albumin to flow, they have to apply tremendous amounts of heat through natural gas and water. It takes like maybe 4 or 5 gallons of barrels of water to get 1 barrel of oil. And it leaves behind these huge toxic tailing ponds, which get into the water system. The Athabasca River flows through there and downstream to Gulf First Nations communities, indigenous peoples, and where they're finding they're getting a lot of different kinds of cancer. So it's a disaster environmentally, to human populations and the wildlife. They're finding bird populations are dying in these huge toxic ponds, and once it gets to a refinery, you're going to have the refining process. As I understand it, this dirty crude oil has lots of corrosive chemicals, and that be put in the atmosphere. I think it takes 3 times as much carbon to get out of this dirty crude oil than conventional crude. So it's just a total insane project that needs to be stopped. And we were in Washington, D.C. Over 1,200 people were arrested over a two-week period in front of the White House, and it's up to Obama. Doesn't have to go through Congress, and it's really up to the State Department to determine if it's in the national interest or not. And so it's ultimately up to Obama, and we were trying to send our message to Obama that he should do the right thing, and not only for our children and our grandchildren, but for the planet, so that they will have a livable planet. Thank you.
Bing, how did you get involved in an issue like this?
Well, initially I got involved as an anti-globalization activist, protesting the WTO and the corporate takeover, and I could see what was happening with the offshoring and the damage to the environment, and so I got involved and protested at most of the WTO ministerials. And then the International Forum on Globalization, they had several teach-ins, and in 2007 they had a teach-in called Confronting the Triple Crisis, which would be peak oil, climate change, and resource depletion. And I became very aware of the Alberta tar sands a couple years ago, and I could see that this was something that we needed to stop.